Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight, I have two power advocates from Kidney Solutions on the broadcast. First, Kent Bressler, U.S. Army veteran, longtime nurse, vice president of Kidney Solutions, preemptive kidney transplant patients before there was such a thing as preemptive kidney transplant patients, kidney advocate, support group leader, fund walk creator, and that's about half of his credentials. Joining Ken is our good friend, Jonathan Traylor. You know him as Hope with Jonathan fame, social media director for Kidney Solutions. Most of those incredible graphics that you see are created by John. There we go. He does extraordinary work. Kidney advocate, kidney transplant recipient, all around devil may care flying fool. We love him. In 1982, Kent was diagnosed with focal segmental glomerulus, FSGS, which I probably pronounced wrong, a disease that causes scarring in the glomerulus of the kidney and is notorious for additional health problems, including large amounts of protein in the urine, loss of protein in the blood, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, loss of hearing, loss of vision. Could go on for an hour about this. In 1987, Kent received a kidney from his brother Kip. For the past 30 years, Kent's been on immunosuppressive drugs that are essential in guarding against rejection of the transplanted kidney. 30 years, just amazing, Kent. Over 30 years now. Kent is the founder and VP of Kidney Solutions, an organization dedicated exclusively to kidney patients that mentors kidney patients and is a network of kidney transplant experience. Kidney Solutions can be found at kidneysolutions.org. He's also on the board of directors with the American Association of Kidney Patients. Very unselfish, active kidney advocate. Jonathan Traylor had a near-death experience to begin his kidney journey. Jonathan suffered from diabetes and high blood pressure as a new father. Jonathan did start to take his prescribed medications for diabetes and hypertension, but he didn't make other changes such as lifestyle changes for exercise or diet. Quote, I was one of those guys that did what I wanted, ate what I wanted. I was always strong and able to do things, but lacking accountability and lacking an exercise regimen, unquote. Finances were often tight, and he could not always afford medical care. He did have a consistent job that included health insurance, and sometimes he had to choose between paying utility bill and putting food on the table or affording a doctor's visit and medication. He shares his blood sugar level was regularly very high in the 300s or 400s, John, oh my God. And his blood pressure continued to be elevated. In July of 2019, Jonathan became very sick. He was extremely fatigued and weak. He thought he had the flu. His wife, Melissa, tried to keep him hydrated with sports beverages, but he got more and more ill. He eventually went to the emergency room. At the ER, Jonathan learned it was not the flu. In fact, the unmanaged diabetes and high blood pressure had caused damage to his kidneys, and now he was in end-stage kidney disease, renal failure. Additionally, his blood potassium level was a staggering 9. The normal range is less than 5.1, signaling hyperkalemia. Changing hospitals and helicopter rides were involved to save his life. Jonathan had to begin dialysis immediately to remove the toxins and the fluids that had built up due to his failing kidneys, or as Jonathan says, he quote unquote crashed into dialysis. He says he has received an IJ, internal jugular catheter, in his neck and chest to begin dialysis. Long story short, Jonathan was lucky to survive. He was on dialysis in-center and later home hemodialysis. After 3 months at home, A friend from John's old church in Louisville contacted him with news of a possible kidney. And on August 11th, 2020, Jonathan underwent kidney transplant surgery. Post-transplant, Jonathan has been a great example to all of us. He takes excellent care of himself. He exercises. He goes to the gym. He has made himself one of the best kidney advocates in America. He is approximately 3.5 years post-transplant, and everybody on social media has heard of Hope with Jonathan. Both of these men, along with the momster, Sharon Mulroy, who's been on this broadcast with us before, have made Kidney Solutions into one of the best mentoring groups for kidney patients around. Kidney Solutions offers a wide variety of services and programs to those navigating the many challenges of chronic kidney disease. These programs and services educate and empower people living with kidney disease from pre-dialysis to those with a transplant to post-transplant to help live a healthy life. And I want you to get this. All services offered by Kidney Solutions are absolutely and entirely free. Capital F-R-E-E, free. Services include support group meetings on Mondays and Thursdays, kidney disease teaching and mentoring. If you put me and Kent and John and our good friend from Connecticut all together, you got over 100 years of kidney experience, and that doesn't include Shannon. So Shannon, I apologize, but like I said, over 100 years there. Patient and family support, podcasts that are extraordinary, expert guest speakers, particularly on Monday nights, information on living kidney donation and preemptive kidney we're one of the few groups that talks it up about preemptive kidney transplant,
yes,
by the way. Support before, during, and after kidney. Where have you got a support group that supports you after you get a kidney transplant? Most groups shrug their shoulders, say best of luck. We don't do that. Upcoming fund walk, both in person and virtually. Social media distribution and education, one of John's specialties. Kidney Solutions, a network of transplant experience. And there's breaking news at Kidney Solutions. They have a new phone number. The new number is 1-833-455-7896. That's 1-833-455-7896. When a person calls in, they will be greeted, then given the option to choose 0 for the recipient advocate, Kent, or 1 for the donor advocate, Shannon. Please give a very warm welcome to 2 of the best kidney advocates on the planet. The great Kent Bressler and the hopeful Jonathan Traylor are here with us tonight, and we are fired up, baby. Yeah. So how are you guys doing?
March Madness.
Absolutely. Kidney Solution Madness tonight, baby.
There you go.
So we already got people saying hello. Bobby Reed's here saying great cast this evening. Got a couple of Facebook users saying hi. Please identify yourself. All I get from StreamYard is that you're a user. So, okay. Let's start with the questions. Jonathan and Kent, did I state everything correctly in the introduction? Is there anything we need to fix?
Yeah, the number that when they call in is absolutely correct, and the prompts are 1 and 2 only. 1 for recipients, 2 for donors. That's okay. But that was my bad. I did that wrong when I introduced you. So to it. So there you go.
That's okay. We got that straightened out. That's why I asked.
Just follow the directions.
All right. Kent, please give us some idea of where you grew up, your education, your military experience, and some of your employment experiences.
I was born and raised in Nebraska in a small community called Wakefield. And met my wife, Catherine, very early on. I think it was third grade, and people will laugh about that. I did see her in third grade, and we dated, and we now have been married. Kathy and I have been married for 53 years. I got to get that right because she'll probably be listening. Anyway, yeah, that I went to school to become a lab technician, and then it transferred over and got drafted. Ended up with 2 years of my career as a medic in the United States Army, thank God. And then we were married throughout that whole time. And they came back and went to school and became an RN. I felt that working with patients was my calling. There was no brief stance. They went right to it. I wanted to do it in the Army, but they refused. They wanted to keep me in my regular MOS. And so I got out and went to school. And at one point in time, I realized that the most important thing about this whole process was staying healthy. I knew I had kidney disease, FSGS. I knew it because I had a lot of protein in my urine. There was no doubt about it early on, probably when I was 17 years, when I did a football physical that was there on my old records. The Army knew about it, and they still took me. And it progressed, and that's one of the things that's it never goes away. FSGS doesn't go away. There's no cure, and so that's been hanging over my head. But I've been able to raise two great kids, Gretchen and Celeste. Both of them are married and have four. I have 4 grandkids, and I'm going to tell you what, it's a joy to be able to do what I've done because of my health, and I've taken it very seriously my whole life. And the most important thing to me is the fact that I got to raise a family. All right, kidney disease doesn't, it sticks around forever. All right, you get a diagnosis, you got to treat it, and you got to work with it, and that's what we do here at Kidney Solutions. We mentor, we help people get through this horrible journey. We make it better, we make it easier, and it's free. So that's pretty much my story. I got a lot of stories I could tell, but we'll save that for another time.
All right. Jonathan, same question. Talk to us about where you grew up, your education, and your employment experiences.
Well, Uncle Jim, I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. If you're from Louisville, it's Louisville, but we'll say Louisville. That'll pass for tonight. But I was born and raised there, and then my background in education, as far as is I'm just a high school graduate, so I never pursued college or anything. I graduated when I was like 17 years old. So at that time, I wasn't interested in pursuing school. It was like I wanted to get out of high school as quick as possible. Later in life, I met Melissa, and I kind of sort of knew her most of my teen years, and then we kind of connected later on in life as young adults, and then we got married. We've been married for 23 years, and I have 2 beautiful children with Melissa. Melissa also has been my caregiver and care partner, so I want to mention that. So shout out to my awesome wife, Melissa. And she's very strong, accepting with my advocacy as well. But as far as employment and things like that, before transplant, I was working with computer repair, kind of a printer repair, IT type person. I did that for many, many years. And I sort of reinvented myself after transplant and got into gig work, they call it, basically 1099 contracting. And then, of course, I got into volunteering and volunteering with Kidney Solutions. So that's pretty much my story. other than the kidney disease stuff, and I'm sure we're going to get into that. So,
oh yeah, just a shout out to a few of our folks on board with us tonight. Anthony the Ant Reed is with us. Hi, Anthony. Lynette Lind from support group is here with us. Hi, Lynette. And there's a couple. Bobby Reed, of course, is here. And there's a couple of Facebook users. Like I said, they don't tell me who you are. They just say Facebook user. So, if you know, let me know who's here, and I'll make sure I acknowledge you.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about Kidney Solutions. Kent, how did you come up with the idea, and when did Kidney Solutions come into existence? And what, in your opinion, has made it so successful?
Well, I think it's a multitude of things. Right off the bat, I can tell you that we would be nowhere without several people who are total volunteers. We've never used money or numbers as a device to show how great we are. Our whole focus has been on patients, right? We focus solely on their needs and how we can help them journey through kidney disease. Like I said before, this is no cakewalk. This is a very serious, and as many people that die from it yearly, it would make you think that nothing's been done. There's no way to get in and get out without dying, and that's not true. You can very well do anything that you want to with kidney disease as long as you accept the fact you have it and work within its parameters. So you need a mentor, and that's what our organization is at Kidney Solutions. When we first started, the organization itself started about 6 years ago, but I've been working individually with patients with kidney disease for 25 years, and I can tell you that this has not been fun. It's not a ball of joy, but it's rewarding and it's needed. So why not get involved in it? And that's how we decided to work at Kidney Solutions in. We had a couple of folks here in town, in my town of Kerrville, Texas. One of them came to me and said, you know, I just don't understand this. I'm sicker than a dog, and I've got this. They wanted to put me on dialysis, and her name was Lori. And Lori said, I just don't know what to do. Well, we ended up working with Lori very closely, and she ended up getting a transplant from a gal who saw one of our flyers that we produced in a doctor's office. She called me up and said, I want to donate to Lori. So Whitney did, and she was the first person that actually was considered, quote, Kidney Solutions. And they're both doing well. Both of them are still in the community working with us and working, you know, behind the scenes. They're tremendous. That's what's so nice about this whole process, is the people that you get to meet and help. Mentoring is a big deal in my book. If you can't mentor, if you don't look and focus with the patient, you're not going to go anywhere. And I can tell you, it'll just be very difficult for you. So focusing directly on the patient and not deviating from that focus, that gives you a good record, a good track record, and all the numbers and all the money doesn't make any difference. It makes a difference when they get transplanted and they're supported before they do, when they get it, and afterwards. That's the most important thing. And that's what Kidney Solutions is about.
Yeah, got a couple more folks I got to shout out here. Hey, Bree Fields is with us, and our good buddy David Pruczynski is with us. Kathy Campbell, I think that's Dr. Campbell is with us.
Campbell. Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Campbell is an AIP board of director friend of ours, and Jennifer McClunk, who was on the broadcast with us recently. Hi, Jennifer. Great young kidney advocate. All right, so John, your turn. Tell us how Kent and Kidney Solutions has helped you, and when you came on board with Kidney Solutions, and exactly what do you do as the director of social media for Kidney Solutions?
Well, Uncle Jim, in 2019, I was literally hit by a Mack truck by kidney disease and kidney failure. That's really the only way I can explain it. And just so happens my wife goes in for gallbladder surgery and gets handed this card from some guy named Kent Bressler. Uh, it's the lady says, "You need to call this guy. He's going to help you. We heard that about your story and granted, my wife's fixing to be wheeled in for gallbladder surgery, and then this lady's handing me a business card for Kidney Solutions. So, but call it what you want. I think it was sort of a divine connection. And I went home. We got my wife put in bed, and her relaxing after surgery. And I told my wife I was going to call this guy. And a long story short, we connected at a local Denny's of all places. And after I was with Ken about 2 minutes, and you got to understand how green I was scared to death. I was like a deer in headlights, major thing had just happened to me. Kidney failure, dialysis. I had no education or background. And so when I met Kent was like a breath of fresh air, literally. And, after meeting with him and went home and thought about what I had just experienced with the meeting, I realized that, I was not alone and that there was hope. And Kent began mentoring me from there. And here we are, almost 4 years later. And I still have Kent calling me for some reason. I don't know. I can't get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
But I'm either glutton for punishment or I really like Kidney Solutions. I think it's a little of both, but I really enjoy Kidney Solutions. When I joined Kidney Solutions, I think it was probably a little after transplant. Me and Kent had kind of come up with the idea of me coming on board, helping out with making posters and stuff and creating for patients and talking, sharing their story and utilizing social media to get their stories out there and working off of the website and and things like that. And so that was probably right after transplant. I was transplanted in 2020. I'm going to guess and say it was sometime around 21, somewhere around there, 22 probably. It's been a joy. I mean, it's had its bumps and things like that. Can't call them bumps in the road, but we just move on. And like he also says, we just keep breathing and keep moving on. And it's very much been an enjoyable experience. And as far as social media, pretty much answered what I do. I'm throwing up patient stories in a poster that I create, and we do that to get people's stories out there, and we're doing that across a lot of different platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have a YouTube channel. We even have TikTok. And so we're utilizing as many platforms as we can because why not? It's free, and we're taking advantage of every platform that we can to try to help patients get there. If they're wanting to, and what I mean by get there, I'm talking about kidney transplant. And if they're wanting to receive a kidney, and we're willing to help them in any way that we can. And also, I'm a living patient that was helped as well by Kidney Solutions. So I can tell you that I've never been charged one dime from their services. And so, if anybody's out there and they're skeptical about that, here I am 4 years later. Like I said, I can't get rid of these guys.
That's talk from the guy who told me that I've got a face for radio, and he's right.
Well, John, I want you to take a look at some things for me, and let's talk about some of the graphics that Kidney Solutions has produced. This is for the Fund Walk. It's in the corner.
Sure.
Did you design that, or did Jason Nunez design that?
Actually, the logo for that was designed by our board president, Bruce. Shout out to Bruce Kraft. He's our board president. So he designed that logo for the walk. And so I just kind of stole it off and clipped it. And
he doesn't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to tell you. I'll be transparent and tell you I did not create that one, but Bruce did an excellent job in creating that logo, and that's the logo right there.
There it is.
Yeah.
Second annual fund walk. That's April 9th, correct?
13th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 13th. Yeah.
And you can do that in person, or you can do that virtually.
Virtually.
Yeah, virtually.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I ask more detailed questions about that in a minute.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How about this one? This is a patient notification for Isaiah, I think.
Yep, it's Isaiah.
Yeah, that's Isaiah. Isaiah. Yeah, that's a creation of mine. So if people are wondering how I'm creating those in Canva, and I don't think that was a template. I actually think I designed that one from scratch from Canva.
Yeah, because the pictures changed.
Yeah, but those are Canva is a awesome tool to use for creating posters and things like that. And there is a learning curve with it, but once you learn it, you can. It makes anybody look like Van Gogh, really. But these are great tools to utilize definitely when you're wanting to use posters for social media. And but yeah, that's one of mine. Yes, sir.
How about this one? The one that announced the new phone number for Kidney Solution, which I screwed up.
Yeah, I created that one. That was a real simple one, but it just kind of get the point out about the phone number, our KS hotline. That's what I call it, the KS
That's what
hotline.
it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kidney hotline.
How about this one about the support groups?
Yeah, that one was created in Canva as well, and that was a template inside of there. And I just kind of coordinated, some of the color schemes of Kidney Solutions, and just trying to get people's attention, is really the ideal behind it. So,
how about this one for our buddy Martin?
Martin Hughes in New York, man. No, Martin's a good guy. Yeah, that one I created in Canva as well. Yes, sir.
I should mention both Martin and Isaiah have been on the broadcast, so you can check that out on YouTube if you want to catch the replay.
Yeah.
How about this one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That one's created in Canva. The ideal behind these is to change them up and not stay with the same old scheme and same old template, just to try to keep mixing it up to garner attention and grab somebody's eye. And you just never know, somebody that needs to come to a support group, or maybe they got kidney disease. Maybe they just got told they got kidney disease, recently diagnosed, or maybe they need a kidney or whatever. And they see the branding, the logo, the artwork, and it gets their attention. Or maybe someone wants to be a donor. I just feel like that you got to change it up to try to get people's attention, and that's the ideal behind these posts. There's another one. Yeah.
This is yours too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So far, I'm like 10 out of 10. How about this guy?
That one is a Bruce. That's another Bruce Craft original, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this one?
Mentioned Bruce, our pal, has been transplanted for 53 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
And the background that Kent's using for tonight.
Yeah. That's another Bruce original. So
yeah.
Shout out to Bruce. Yeah, he does good work too. He's a good one.
He's a graphic artist. Yeah, he's profoundly elated with people that know what the heck they're doing. Thank God, because I don't.
All right. John, let's talk about support groups and meetings and social media. The posts that we're looking at now are what are the places that you share them at, and are there any challenges that you've encountered?
First of all, I want to say how impactful the support groups were for me early on, and when I was diagnosed and went through the whole near-death experience and kidney failure, and started attending those regularly. When I found out that I wasn't alone in this battle, that there were other people out there that had been through even worse than what I had been through, was huge. And to connect with so many people, the support groups were incredible. They were just very impactful, and still are. And now we've even added, the educational aspect, where we're bringing in doctors and, all these different ones that are educating patients on chronic kidney disease. So the support groups are amazing. Also, I'll add that if you're battling this disease, support is crucial. So definitely check out our support groups. But when we want to share for those, we're just putting them across our social media channels, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And the thing is we always try to bring patients, our people, back to our website. And that's where you can get a lot of information. So the goal is to always try to bring you back to our website. And the reasons for that is you can find out all of our information right there. Also, someone might decide that they are interested in being a donor. They can get all the information for different patients there. And so that's the reasoning behind all of the posts, and why it's good to post across multiple different platforms as well.
Okay. If anybody wants to drill down on what's going on with Kidney Solutions or John or Kent, go to my personal page on Facebook. The notice for this broadcast is pinned to the top of my page. In the comments, I put all my research in the comments. So everything about John, everything about Kent, everything about Kidney Solutions, their website, their phone number, where you can reach them, the types of things that they do, that's all in there. The prior broadcasts that I've done, this is Kent's third appearance. This is John's second appearance. Shannon's been on the broadcast. A number of the patients from Kidney Solutions have been on the broadcast. All those links are in there. So if you want to know more information, you can definitely check us out. Kent, let's get into a little detail about the support group meeting thing. How often do they meet? What are the support group meetings about? What are the kinds of things that are discussed?
We meet every Monday night at 6 o'clock Central Daylight Time, religiously. I don't think we've missed maybe one in the last 4 years. And also we have a support group on Thursday night, but it's kind of like a potpourri. It's not a takeoff of Monday night. It's the residual from what we used to do at Peterson Hospital in Kerrville, Texas, when we were meeting live. And I didn't want to lose that small, homey type feeling. So, but anybody can come in there. We don't mind. And if they want to invite, we'll invite them in. We kind of use the invitation system. Get your email so we can invite you in, because we do like to vet. We don't have any problems with the support group, but we don't want to encourage folks to come in there and take over, if you know what I'm saying. Our whole mission with our support groups is just that, what Jonathan just said, provide support. You can't do this alone. The ones that do eventually end up having a lot of difficulty. And I think that the support groups, the way they're handled, they've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, but that's a reason that people will come to listen. You don't have to talk, all right? You can come in, and we just try to keep, it's not entertainment, folks. It's true life stories about people with kidney disease and how they manage. And this for dialysis patients, transplant patients, donors, anybody who can contribute to the kidney story is welcome. And we invite them in, everyone, okay?
Caretakers too.
Absolutely, caretakers. Thank you, Jim. Absolutely. And we have them, all right? And our database, if you will, of emails is approaching 700 people, all right? Now, that's not everybody doesn't get an invitation out, because it's simply the numbers are too big. But we do offer that, and we've talked about, now that it's growing, is maybe splitting off or making a second support group a Monday night later, or we're toying around with it. But so far, I think it's been handled very graciously, because we've been able to get a lot of people solved, a lot of their problems solved there. We don't give medical advice. We give opinions and just kind of tell people the way we've navigated kidney disease. All right. And that's the most important part. Medical advice is not coming from Kidney Solutions. It's not coming from our website. It's not coming from our support groups. It comes from your physician, your nephrologist. That's where you get your information. And that's where you have to realize that ours is a support group. You have a problem, somebody comes in some night and they're despondent. We've had people come in and we've worked with them. Listen, give me a call as soon as we're done here. You know what? That type of invitation. Call me. You have my number. Let's talk after this, and we'll see if we can sort some of this stuff out for you. All right.
Give us that phone number again, Kent.
Well, my personal, that phone, you're asking me for that dadgum phone number, and I haven't even memorized it yet, Jim. Dadgum it.
Okay. I'll make sure that we say it again before the end of the broadcast.
But call it. My number's still out there for the podcast, 830-285-2140. But our company one now is, what is it, Jonathan? Help me out.
It's 1-833-455-7896.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to talk to Kent, you press option 1.
Yep.
Okay. Got a few more folks I want to say hello. There's a Facebook user, Jonathan. I enjoy your artwork. And Candy Gagne's on the broadcast.
Candy.
Hi, Kent and John and Jim. Hi, Candy.
Hi.
Robin Latrail, Lataille,
Yep.
saying hi. Our friend and our guest next Friday, Steve Belcher. He just wrote a new book. He says hello. Angela Mason saying hello. Facebook book user saying to us, thank you. I love this group. We love you back. So lots of interested folks here, my friends. So
Nice.
Let's talk, Kent, about why Kidney Solutions is a teaching and mentoring not-for-profit, not just a kidney matching group.
Yeah, it just goes right back to the story I told before. You can't walk this journey by yourself. You just can't do it. It's too cumbersome. It's too dangerous. And you guys got guys like, all of our people in our organization have some connection with kidney disease, either transplanted or they are a donor, or like you said, a caregiver, and they got skin in the game. And you know how hard it is for people to understand what kidney disease is, but you understand it when you have it. Trust me, you've got a great big picture of it. And if you can work directly with a patient or groups of patients, you got a leg up on helping them out. This is not about the organization. It's about the individual patients. Okay. And without the focus on education, and without the focus on just being there for somebody to call when they're in trouble, that's all we're asking them to do, is give us a call. We'll discuss it. We'll talk about it, and then we'll encourage you. And if we don't have answers, we'll get them. We have a wealth of people at our disposal. We got doctors, we got nurses, dietitians, social workers. We can put our paws on anybody within an instant time and get you in touch with people that can help you in your travels. So that's pretty much the way we see it at Kidney Solutions.
Okay, people are asking about the new phone number. Hang on a minute. I'll get it for you. John, say it one more time, will you?
It's 1-833-455-7896.
That's 1-833 833-455-7896. 833-455-7896. Hit option 1 for Kent, option 2 for Shan.
That's right.
It's okay.
Okay.
We knew this was going to be difficult, especially when we got an aging population like me trying to fix it. I mean, all I can say is this is a joy to be able to come on here tonight and try to explain our way out of a lot of stuff. And we've got a lot going on, Jim. A lot. There's plenty of action here at KS. Trust me.
John, talk to us about this mentoring thing. What effect, if any, did the mentoring and the teaching that Kidney Solutions has done, what effect has it had on you and your personal difficulty with kidney disease?
The mentorship has been completely invaluable. I mean, there's no value I could put on it. I mean, Kent, and I say Kent, it's Kidney Solutions, but Kent is Kidney Solutions. So, but there's so much that has been fed into me, not only from the mentorship, but the educational background. And I mean, our, a network of transplant experience. It's so true. I mean, I couldn't have been placed in a better place to have kidney failure. Than be connected with Kidney Solutions, because here I've got what are you, kid? 35-year kidney transplant recipient. 37. I mean,
will be in April.
And and then I have you, Jim, and then Bruce, which we mentioned earlier, 50 some odd years.
Yeah. Armand, 27.
Armand, so
40 years here since I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you have that kind of mentorship surrounding you, it's hard to fail. It really is. I mean, it's you're connected with so much information. It's so invaluable. I can't put a value on it. It's just incredible. The effect has been that it's made my journey, a lot easier than if I would have had to do it all by myself. And I don't see how I could have survived with that, with what I went through, with being smacked by kidney failure, and then no educational background. I don't know how well I would have adapted to things and change, and without Kidney Solutions and their guidance. And the fact that the selling point was, and it's not a selling point because we're free, but when Kent mentioned, hey, I'm going to help you, and it's not going to cost you a thing. Man, that was like, that was such a weight off of my shoulders, because had he had said, hey, here's the cost and this is what, I would have had to walk away and said, I'm sorry, I can't afford that. But because he said it was free, and he's always stuck to his word by that, I was able to, take advantage of that. And man, it's life-changing, Jim. That type of offer to you, especially if you're, just recently diagnosed and you're scared to death, and you don't know really what's going to come next. It's life-changing. So the mentorship to me has been just invaluable, and the effects have been, it's made my journey a lot easier.
Okay. Kent, let's talk for a minute about the patient and family services provided by Kidney Solutions. We just don't help the patient. We help the people that are taking care of him and the family. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Now, just as an example, I'm just going through a text that was just sent to me. Big Cat's in town. There's I just got a text from one of our patients, and they want to talk about what's going on with him. I said, hang on. We'll get to you just as soon as we're done with the show. I mean, it's a direct contact. We have people calling all the time. Jonathan gets calls. Shannon gets calls. I get calls. The whole point here is it's directed. Yeah. So I guess the easiest way to for us to put it is we're here. It seems simple, but we are. All right. And you can't, one person or 5 people doesn't constitute a multitude. But we can do, like I said, lots for folks just by being there. They know they can call. All right. They know. And I wanted to, before we, get in a bind here, I want to thank Jonathan and Jason and Marilyn for the work that they do. Marilyn is I call her our brewmaster. She does all the website stuff, right? And she keeps me out of trouble when the 990 needs to get in. When she used to be the director of the Texas Kidney Foundation, all right? And she volunteers with us, and she goes beyond. She does grants. She does everything. This woman is amazing. But you won't get her on.
She adds all the blogs to your website too.
Absolutely. And if you want to drive it through our website, please do it, because it's always up to date. We have times when it's down. I get that. But in general, within no time at all, Marilyn has built that website, and she's done it. She's done it handily. We don't spend big bucks on our website because she's doing it, right? She hooks into a lot of free resources, and she commands. She's on it every single day. All right. I can't say enough about Marilyn Garcia in San Antonio, and I'll just shout her out as much as I can. And Jonathan knows what kind of gal she is and how hard she works at it.
Yeah. Without her, Kidney Solutions doesn't run, because we run everything right to the website.
Exactly.
And so we're putting the little drops out on social media, but everything that you want to find out in big dumps of information, big loads of information is on the website. So without the website, Kidney Solutions doesn't run. So
Nope.
Shout out to Marilyn.
KidneySolutions.org. I mean, that's as simple. You don't need to remember any phone numbers because they're all there. Just KidneySolutions.org. Go online and pop that in. Your bring it up, and everything that you need to know about us and getting to know us is there. All right.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
Kent, let's talk about podcast. You did a podcast recently with Diana Kleins from the AAKP.
Yes, sir.
How many podcasts have you done? Who does your producing? What is the average number of people that listen, and how many subscribers do you have?
I did my 129th podcast today, and our listenership has grown exponentially. The last time that was reported to me, we were nearing 15 to 20,000, downloads, and the whole thing is this is all kidneys, and there's nothing in there. I'm going to venture out next week, and I'm going to do a fellow who's had a heart transplant and a liver transplant, and I did one with a gal who had a heart transplant, liver, and kidney. And she's from right here in Texas, in Austin. But these podcasts are generated for people with kidney disease. All right. I want to hear their stories, and I just want to make sure that they have a platform, because after you've been transplanted, what happens to you is very, very important, because people want to know. They do really want to know. And I'm trying to expand it farther. One of the most important things that's coming out, it's becoming a lifeline for patients and also for companies. We have a couple companies right now that we're working very, very closely with, doing podcasts for them that they can use in their training and their education. All right. So, and they're donating, not to me, they're donating to Kidney Solutions. All right. These organizations, these medical companies, anything where people really reach out and help the patient, now in this genetic age, it's very, very important to keep that in the forefront. We just had a transplant the other day, right? Of a man who was transplanted with a pig kidney. And a lot of jokes going around about that, but I tell you what, that's monumental. Go figure that if my lifetime, I would see a man be transplanted with a pig kidney and he'd go home. This is and the company's eGenesis. Yeah, it's amazing.
A genetically engineered.
Exactly. And the pig was
transplant.
Yep, not the patient, the pig. And so they got rid of a lot of the anomalies that created, like the viruses, by doing this genetic habling, and it's good. And then to hear people talk about what nothing's happened in this environment. Well, I'll tell you what, in the last 5 years, it's exploding. And get on board and learn as much as you can. And we've got people on those podcasts, and your show too, Jim. Your show, Kidney Stories 2, is just amazing how many people you've had on that address kidney issues. I mean, there's no advertising in this kind of thing. This is just solely research-oriented and vetted information that we don't put on unless we know it's right. Okay? So, yeah, I'm real proud of my podcast, and then Jonathan and I are developing some things that we're going to do with the podcast. It's going to be a very interesting time at Kidney Solution.
John, talk about publicizing the podcast a little bit. I understand that Jason is the producer of the podcast, Jason Nunez, and that he does the graphics for the podcast. But when I see the podcast shared, generally speaking, that's Jonathan Traylor.
Correct. And usually what I do is just grab it and share it as many places that I can. Why? Because these podcasts are incredible. I mean, there's so much that you can learn from just listening to someone else's story. And I think that a lot of times some people think that, they have been through a lot. But if you take the time and you listen to other people's stories that are out there, you will be blown away at what other people have faced and overcome. And there's been a lot of people on that podcast that I've learned a lot from just from listening to Kent's Kidney Stories podcast. And I mean, even your broadcast as well, Jim. I mean, there's an educational aspect on these podcasts that, again, I have to use words like invaluable, because where else are you going to get real live stories? This stuff's not scripted or made up. It's real life that happened with kidney disease. So these are incredible stories. They're worthy of being shared, and we share the I'll just say the heck out of them. And put them everywhere that we can.
I wanted
this last podcast that Kent did with Diana is in all 100 of my
yep.
groups. And John, just to plug you for a minute, John does broadcasts too. Anything that starts with the phrase "Hope with Jonathan," you should be checking out because it's excellent stuff. Just excellent stuff. He does a wonderful job. Kent, you were saying?
Yeah, I could. Could I go back to Jason?
Yeah.
I've been with Jason for, I can't even tell you how, since his transplant. And this gentleman, Jason Nunez in San Antonio, has gracefully taken up my podcast and engineers the whole thing. Okay, artwork, the whole 9 yards. And he is a kidney transplant, got a living donor. He is an amputee. And he's a profound Christian who works for the Catholic Diocese of San Antonio. And he does the media for them, plus what he does for me. I couldn't do my podcast without him. He has just been a lifesaver. And he and I have worked this thing, 129 sessions of them, and they've, I think, have improved significantly from the babbling I did at first to what we're doing now. and we'll just keep improving them. Jonathan, we're going to tag team on some things, and probably going to bring you in, Jim. I mean, this whole thing needs to be. People just need to realize that we're here. All I'm asking, not looking for dough, not looking for numbers, just looking for people who need help. We're here to help. Period. End of story.
Excellent. Let's talk about guest speakers for a minute. You've had some amazing guest speakers on Monday night, physicians, experts, kidney doctors. The last guy you had on last Monday, infectious
disease doctor.
Specialist.
Yeah.
Can't talk to us about the guest speakers on Monday night. How often are they on? And give us some examples of some of the guests you've had on.
Well, the first guy who comes to first of all, every Monday night, once a month on Monday nights, we will have a guest speaker. The vast majority of them have been learned folks within the system, doctors, nurses, dietitians, social workers. And we get them directly from our group, people who have actually been to them as practitioners and have been cared for them. And they introduce them, all right? And that's just like what happened with the fellow that was on last Monday night. But he's a world-class infection control doctor, right? Very learned. We've had Elliot Heher from out in Boston, who's a preemptive transplant expert and nephrologist. We've had Chabib, Dr. Chabib from Mayo. We've had, I'm going to miss somebody, but I can tell you that once a month, we're going to have a guest speaker. And sometimes
Dr. Chabib, the preeminent PKD specialist and researcher from the Mayo Clinic, whose own father had polycystic kidney disease, and he is an excellent speaker.
Right.
And he frequently speaks at PKD events, so that's how valuable or valued he really is.
Just had a multitude of people. I should have pulled my list, but I can tell you right now that if you go, you just need to find out. We spend a lot of time putting this out to the public about when they're coming on with their schedule, and their time is very important, and they come right up, and the format is very simple. They come on, they give a presentation, a dietitian, social worker, whatever comes on, they give a presentation. We ask everybody to stay muted, and to use the chat room to ask questions. Once they get it in the chat room, Shannon will come back and give the questions to the doctor, all right, or to the nephrologist or the social worker, whoever is speaking, and that's how it stays so they can get their presentation out. Presentation first, Q&A, and we don't have a set time limit. If it goes over, it goes over. That's just the way it is.
Well, and just so people don't get the wrong idea, it's not strictly docs. You're talking to the head of Premier Dialysis very soon, and they're doing some very innovative things with their dialysis program.
Yep. I'm podcasting him, and you're going to have him on your show. But
very soon.
We're not really concerned with the number of people we get in this group, because if you really think about it and really think hard, whoever comes and whoever listens is going to benefit. All right. So it's on you as a person to seek this kind of thing out. You know about it. You ought to be there. Right. There's room in the inn for everybody.
Okay. We're talking about guest speakers. John, what do you do to publicize a guest speaker?
Again, we just get them out there on social media and try to share as much as we can.
Shane, how many groups do you run on Facebook, John?
I personally have somewhere around 6, I think. My main one that I use is the Hope with Jonathan podcast group that I have. But I'm involved with every one of yours. I don't know quite how many that you have, but I try
Over
to
100.
share.
Yeah.
I try to share some there too. There for a while they were banning me left and right, so I've eased up some on the sharing because I used to share to like, oh man, I think like 40 or 50, and then it seemed like Facebook would just pull the plug on me and ban me for a while or whatever. But these educational support groups are very amazing. I mean, you guys talking about the medical expertise and uh, different things that they can give us as far as information. So it's almost like being in a going to a class or a session, educational wise, and just listening and soaking up as much as you can. So why not come to it and learn as much as you can about this disease?
Okay. And just so everybody knows, I have an announcement to make as far as John is concerned. John, I'm going to invite you as an administrator to all 100 of my groups. I've recently been confronted with my own mortality, and I can't think of anybody better that if something happens to me, I want you to take over. Okay?
I'm honored, Uncle Jim.
Now
Kind
you're
of
it. I don't want anybody else. I want you, baby.
Amen.
I appreciate that, Uncle Jim. I
One other
really do.
thing, I got a note recently from the AAKP. They wanted me to give suggestions about who should be nominated for the board of directors on the American Association of Kidney Patients. I gave them your name. You should be hearing from them. Love to have you, John.
Again, I'm honored by that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I love the AAKP. They're a fantastic organization, and I'd be proud to be a board member. Definitely.
Great. Great. That's what I wanted to hear. Kent, let's talk about living kidney donation and preemptive kidney transplants. No other advocacy group that I'm in, the NKF, the AAKP, the AKF, none of those other groups that I'm in emphasize preemptive kidney transplant or living kidney donor transplant as much as you guys do. Can you explain why you do this, and why don't more doctors explain these options to their patients before dialysis?
This could go on for a long time, but I can put it real simply. There's 3 cases in which you can navigate through kidney disease. You can get a transplant, you can go on dialysis, or you can go on palliative care. Those are your only 3 options. I start out with that by saying their best option overall, as we speak right now, is a living donor donation. Irregardless of whatever happens, when you take on a transplant, you never give up a kidney, but I'll tell you what, having a living donor is by far the best thing that you can do. And I think a lot of the problems that we have right now is they're not teaching this type of approach in med schools, especially not in nephrology school, when they go back into their 8th year of medical practice before they go out on their own. They're taught, but they're not taught about preemptive. Most of the people, and I'm going to just say this straight out, most of the people that we work with get moved towards dialysis first. And I think it should be the other way around. It should be transplant first. Regardless, there's no argument. The dialysis companies can't say anything about that. And there, again, as you look at the overall picture, living donations are far less than deceased donations. And in all, more people go to dialysis than get transplanted. So what's wrong with those numbers? That's the heart of the whole process. You have to have an education up front in med school to understand the importance of living donation. All right. Preemptive, even though it's so important to realize that if you have to have dialysis as a bridge to donation for transplant, it's okay. All right. It's that there are going to be many, many, many people on dialysis. Dialysis isn't going to go away. Right. But somewhere along the way, the docs, the nephrologists have to get on board. They have to get on board. And I think now that Medicare is starting to reimburse for referrals, for living transplant or for transplant, I think it's going to be better. But it's a shame that we had to wait for an initiative like payment in order to get going with preemptive transplant.
Okay. And just so people understand, Kent, preemptive transplant means a living donor donating a kidney to a recipient before dialysis. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
That's correct. And you can argue, there's people that will argue with you about, well, yes, you know what? Dialysis is an important part of this whole therapy process, renal replacement therapy, but isn't it smarter to transplant someone who is well or relatively well than waiting till the last minute when they're down around an eGFR of 10 and they're fighting to stay alive and fighting to stay off a dial? That's not the time. The time is to start looking early. The front part of this, the front load, is early diagnosis, number one, and number two, early treatment. And transplant at that point is a very viable option. Giving people time to look for a donor is paramount to success. You can't have a better success at it, but you can't wait till they're stage 4 and 5. It's unheard of.
Exactly.
But that's what we're doing, right? And we'll get probably pushed back on a lot from the nephrology community, but it's on them. They're the ones with the key. Who else has the key to this preemptive business? Is there anybody? You have the key to it? I don't.
I don't. No.
The nephrologists and the transplant programs have that. When they open up.
Do you think that preemptive transplant should be one of the options that a nephrologist makes to their patient? You can start dialysis, you can have a kidney transplant later, you can go on palliative care, as Kent mentioned. Should they also mention preemptive kidney transplant as an option?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anybody that has ever done dialysis, I mean, if you can skip that whole process and go walk right into a transplant situation, I mean, why not? I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. That should definitely be an option. And I think that with all things medical, you should know all of your options up front right away. There shouldn't be, we shouldn't be hiding things or not disclosing things. We should give a patient every option that's out there. And I think education is huge about this. We have to educate patients on how to tell their story, how to talk to people about what they're going through. We can't just assume that they know, because I find out that patients don't even tell family members that they're going through this, and it's like and they just assume that people know. No, you have to tell people. You have to be consistent with telling your story and talking to people and getting it out there. But yes, I believe that every patient should know their options, know them up front and early, and I do believe that the key point of where you're going to find that out is at the doctor's office, at the nephrologist. I agree with Kent wholeheartedly.
Kent, just so people know, when was it that you had your preemptive transplant, and how did it come about?
I had a wonderful physician. I still have it. I can say have him. He's a very close friend of mine, Dr. Periak Mulgrew in San Antonio. He was the head of all of the transplant immunosuppressive drug initiations in the whole city. Hearts, kidneys, lungs. He did the immunosuppressive. He diagnosed me and he told me straight up, he said, you know what? You're going to need a transplant. He didn't say anything about that. He said, you're going to need a transplant. you just won't do well on dialysis. And as it turned out, he didn't. He was right. But
What
the point
year was
is,
this, Ken?
that was in 1984. 1984.
Well before it was even considered mainstream, right?
No, this was that kind of idea was out the door. But he was a patient. He was a patient person. He understood the patients. You understand? He knew what they could tolerate or how well they could do it. And he just said straight out, you have brothers? And I said, I've got two of them. He said, we need to call them. And we went straight forward with this preemptive thought in our heads. And I will tell you, I did have 2 days of dialysis. All right. And those 2 days were a compromise between him and I. He said, I want to try to get enough fluid and volume off of you that you'll have a successful transplant. Well, yeah, I mean, my creatinine when I went in for transplant was 17. We didn't have EGFR at that time. It was 17. All right. My heart was enlarged. I had every kind of symptom that you would expect from renal failure. And yet he stuck that line in central just for 2 days, Tuesday, Thursday, and I was transplanted on a Friday. But all the preemptive work was done with my brothers a year in advance. He knew where we were going to go with it.
And Kip, your brother Kip,
yep,
the postman, ended up being your donor.
He did. And my other brother, Kerry, stood right there with it. He could have done it too, but he had kids. My Kip said, no way, not going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't have any children. And he needs a kidney, so we're going to do it. And we,
And your kidney has lasted well over 40 years now?
Right at, no, it's 30, he's 37 the end of April. 37. Okay. And my numbers are okay. They're great. Matter of fact, 1.03 on my creatinine and greater than 60 for EGFR. But that doesn't really make any difference in a transplanted patient. But what makes the difference is I'm breathing.
Still alive, my friend.
Yep, and going to be around for a good while.
I like that.
I'm going to be around for a good while, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I would hope, Jonathan Traylor hope, that there are people that to listen to this and give us a call and volunteer with us.
Absolutely.
Call. Jim Myers has done it. Shannon's doing it. Jonathan's doing it. Marilyn's doing it. And Armand's doing it. And peer review. And we have lots of things that would help kidney patients. We need your help. We really, really need your help. So I go back to the fundraiser that we're having. This is our second annual coming up April 13th. Just make darn sure you at least look at it. Because every nickel that comes to this organization goes for patients. All right.
Okay. Talk to us about the fund walk. Where is it? When does it take place? John's holding up the sign.
It's April.
Do I have to be there in Texas in person?
No. Get online and come in, and you can do a virtual walk with it. All right. We'll know. There's a QR code. All that stuff is in there. Go to kidneysolutions.org, and we're planning. You know, this eclipse is coming down. We're the epicenter for the eclipse, which is a week ahead of us. So they're estimating, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people to come into Kerrville. But the following week will probably be so dead there won't be anything going on, but there will be a kidney walk. So, yep. And it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning for registration. And then we've got some activities and just it's just a great thing to think about. The money that goes right back into the fund for patients. We're developing some programs for donors, well within the confines of what's good to do for patients, helping them with their concerns. And not only that, but donors have a large expense, we're trying to develop a fund that would help the donors, foot their expenses too. All right. You hear about everybody going out to do a GoFundMe, site to help with expenses. We want to be in that position, and that's what a lot of the money that we're going to try to raise year after year is going to go towards that. So,
okay, John, I want to ask you about your consistent exercise regimen, your walking program, the work you do in the gym. Tell us all of the things that you do to keep yourself in shape and to make sure that kidney transplant lasts a long time.
So the walking has always been something that has not only helped me physically, but mentally as well. I mean, when you have kidney disease, there's a mental health aspect of it as well. A lot of people kind of shy away of talking about it, but it is there. I feel that walking, keeping yourself busy is a great way to deal with that. Get your mind off of it. Get out in the fresh air and really enjoy that. So that's where walking comes in. Also, I think consistency is key. Continuing to do it, set yourself a regimen that's comfortable for you. You don't have to get out and walk 5 miles every day. If you want to get out and get a mile or two in every day, consistent, but whatever's comfortable for you. Each patient's different. Some patients get out and walk 7-8 miles. It doesn't bother them. But me, maybe I'm good for like 3 miles. You have to find what's best and what's comfortable for you. I feel it's crucial though for your health. Definitely you want to get out and try to get moving, because as you know, with kidney disease, your heart can be taxed as well. So you want to make sure your heart's in good shape as well. So, but that's one of the main reasons why. Also, it helps with diabetes management, which I have diabetes. So when I'm active, my sugars are amazing, so I just want to make sure that I'm doing well with managing my diabetes, especially post kidney transplant. So exercise is definitely crucial for us that have diabetes and living with a kidney transplant. So we just want to make sure that we're consistent. And like I said, find what works for you. Not everybody's regimen is going to be the same for other people, and just because you see somebody doing 10 miles doesn't mean you have to do 10 miles. You got to find what works for you. Now I found what was working for me, and that's what I do, Jim. I'm comfortable where I'm at right now.
Okay, John, I'm fiddling around tonight before the broadcast, and I'm on TikTok, and what do I see? I see a post that you made with overlays and overdubbed sound about the broadcast. Tell us a little bit about your experiences on TikTok and social media. How do you do this so fast and so easily?
I think a lot of it has to do with the time of COVID. So I was already in kidney failure 2019, and then I had to transplant early, in COVID. So, in 2020, August of 2020, I'll be I'm almost a little over 3.5 years post now, which is amazing. But I had a lot of time on my hands, Jim, with kidney failure and then COVID. So I did a lot of research. Took a lot of tips and tricks with other people, other content creators, and we would share different softwares with one another, and really just kind of trial and error. Let me see if this works. Let me see how to do this. And the more you work with something, obviously, the more you do something or the more you practice at something, you're going to get better at it eventually, or at least that's the goal. And so that's kind of what I've done with social media. And so a lot of this now just kind of like comes secondhand, I guess, because I've been doing it for, so long now. But it took me quite a while. I will say it took me quite a while to understand TikTok and even how to create a TikTok. I'm just now getting to a point where I feel like I can make a decent video, but even now, I feel like I could learn so much from other people. And so, but I really appreciate your compliments, and I'm very humbled by it. So thank you, Joe.
No, you're welcome, buddy. Kent,
Sir.
have I missed any aspect of Kidney Solutions advocacy or mentorship or anything that they do? Have I missed anything tonight that you feel should be discussed, is important for our audience to know about?
No, I think we've covered it with a fine-tooth comb. And I just really, I mean, we look forward to coming on tonight. And it's been a while since I've been on. If we don't see it live, we always go back and listen to the late casts. But I'll say one thing, and then I'm going to quit. In order to be successful in this journey, you got to be conscious that it's something that always will be with you. It's not going away. All right. And there's always going to be trouble around the corner, but don't anticipate trouble. Wait until you have an issue and then deal with it. There should be no fear in having problems after transplant, because it's going to happen. Once you realize what is going on, you can fix it. There's plenty of treatment out there now. Wasn't in my first days. There was no treatment. Now there's treatments. So it's constant, and it's just not about kidney here now. As you get through your life with a kidney, you're always going to have these little bumps. And those little bumps don't turn into mountains unless you let them. Pay attention to your body, pay attention to your symptoms, and get help right away. Don't go to bed on it. Don't sleep on it. Get it taken care of right away. You'll live a happier life, and I guarantee you'll keep your kidney a lot longer, right?
Okay.
And don't take the idea that you didn't take care of yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, that's on you. But a lot of kidney failure problems post-transplant are, and I repeat, are happening by no account of yours. There's a system that works in your system. Your body just doesn't take good care of itself. That's not the point. There are parameters with the disease that can come back. All right. So you just have to make sure you're doing everything that you possibly have control of, and then you turn the rest over to God. And that's the end of the story.
Okay. John, that sounds an awful lot like Kent's final statement. Do you have any final statement that you wish to make before the broadcast concludes?
Sure. First of all, I want to thank you, Uncle Jim, for the opportunity to come on tonight. I also want to take the opportunity to thank Kent and Kidney Solutions for everything they've sold into me and everything they've given me as a patient. I could never pay it back, never. And but I enjoy Kidney Solutions. I know what we stand for, and I believe in our system. I believe it's working. I believe we're helping people, and so it's people helping people is what it is. It's like he said, it's not about numbers. It's just we're all kidney patients, or we've been affected somehow by kidney disease. And Shannon's a living kidney donor, so she's right in there with us, and she knows all too well about kidney disease as well. So, but it's an amazing organization, and I'm really happy to be a part. And I just see us continuing to grow, and I'm just glad that I'm around to be involved in an amazing organization like Kidney Solutions.
Wow. Just a great broadcast tonight, guys. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before we conclude the broadcast?
Bless you, Jim. May you
Thank you,
get
buddy.
better. May your health get better, and soon. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good thought, my friend.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
The sooner the better. Yeah.
All right, and
We'll
the
see
fun
you
walk is April
13th.
13th,
Yes.
and that's in Kerrville. You have a park picked out there.
Shriner
And you can
University.
also go online and sign up to do it virtually.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll be held at Shriner University. So
all right.
Yep.
All right, guys. I'm going to let you go. I know it's been overtime. I appreciate you coming on, and wow, what a lot of educational information we gave out tonight. I hope we inspired and uplifted some kidney patients tonight, because that's the whole idea.
Jonathan, and I got one thing to say to you. You ready, Jonathan?
Nope.
Keep breathing.
I love it. I love it.
All right, guys. I'll let you go. Let me button up a few things with our audience.
Sure.
And
thank you so much, Jim.
Oh, no worries. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Guys bailed me out of a tough spot. I appreciate it. All right. That is our broadcast for tonight. A shout out to our friends, Jamie Inhofe checked in, and Emmett Henderson III, another former broadcast guy was on. Hi, Emmett. And so we're going to close up. Keep an eye on this space. Steve Belcher next week. We're going to be talking about his new book. So that should be interesting. And as my friend Kent Bressler would say, keep breathing, my friend.
Breathing. Oh man, that was really fun.